and welcome to episode 4 of BNWYDSE. I'm Tim, with me Troy, and Joseph. So we're going to just give some, started off with the THAC updates like we've been doing so far. So, first of all, we've got, now that Earth and You is finally finished.
Yep, it is up on the THAC channel.
Why don't you, tell the listeners a little about that and how it's, how it originally came to be, how it's, you could say it's been a decade in the making.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I guess, let's see, you looked it up, you looked up the original.
And it was June, I think, June or July after we graduated from high school.
So 2006.
Yep.
So
8 years almost.
8 years between the original Earth and You episode on Newgrounds, which was called Welcome to Earth originally. I would not suggest going to find it because it's terrible.
But it is still there if you're curious.
Lots of some high school humor and
High
stuff.
school humor, dick jokes.
Yep.
You know.
I think there's a fart joke.
Probably. And it looks terrible.
It
Basically,
doesn't
what I'm
look
saying
that
is,
bad.
basically what I'm saying is don't go looking for it.
So if you do decide to go looking for it, yes, it is there. He has not taken it down or anything like that.
As soon as this podcast is done, I'm just going to go delete everything.
There's also another thing on there that I want to see resurrected, but we'll get there eventually.
Get there, yeah.
What?
The hinge turns.
Oh, yeah. That was, yeah. One day.
Maybe we can bring in the original voice actors for that
too. We'll just get a Kickstarter starter for it. Like, help me resurrect the stupid thing I did in high school.
The stretch goal is just paying for Anthony's gas money to drive from Birmingham to Tuscaloosa.
Stretch goal, an extra $20.
Yay.
Buy Anthony some gas.
So, working on Marble Hornets, obviously. We've gotten, you just posted the new To the Arc yesterday, right?
Yeah, I wasn't planning on it, but I was like, whatever.
Yeah, sure.
And then...
I actually finished it quicker than I thought I would, so it was like, well, I might as well do it now. It was like 9 o'clock.
It's oddly relaxing filming for Marble Hornets the other day.
Oh, yes, yeah, we did shoot something yesterday. I totally forgot about that.
It was so relaxing.
Yeah, it was so relaxing, I completely forgot about it.
Production on 83? It is 83, right?
Yeah, so
Okay.
we've shot two full days now? Or not full days, but 2 days we have shot for it, and I'd say it's probably about 60% there.
Oh, yeah.
In terms of just being shot.
And then we're
edited.
scheduled to shoot more tomorrow night at one of our
maybe
locations.
late tomorrow afternoon if we can think of anything to get out there, but we'll see.
And then we have more mustache news. It wouldn't be a THAC podcast without some mustache news.
This might be the last bit of mustache news. I don't know, because the mustache is now here.
I think even now that it's here, you could still just give updates every time. Just like
how it's doing.
Just letting you know the mustache is alive and well in its case, and it's being groomed daily.
I didn't get it from the store that I got the other one from, so it's not the exact same one, but it's close enough to where it won't really matter on the camera.
Especially if you view it at proper 144 resolution.
Which is definitely recommended when it comes to nature.
Yeah,
that is
the lower quality, the better.
Yeah. That is the Canon resolution.
So that begs the question, though. If we do ever decide to make a THAC DVD or a Nature Break DVD, what quality will Nature Breaks be in?
We can make it a special feature, because if it's at that low of a bit rate, it'll be like the tiniest file size. So you can just kind of stick it on the DVD hidden somewhere, like proper...
Like an Easter egg, just like the real version.
Yeah, and it's like, it doesn't take up the whole screen, it's just a little box in the middle of the screen. Like how...
it's still 144p, but it's not stretched out, so you have to sit like 2 inches from your TV to see it.
Kind of like how videos used to be on the internet, where it was like, they were so big that the bandwidth couldn't handle it back then or something, and all those videos were like really compressed and terrible looking and really small. So it'll be just that on your TV screen right in the middle of it.
We could even take the rip it from YouTube in the compressed form and then recompress it too.
Yeah.
Or host them on the THAC website in like really low res, like QuickTime files, and put it together on like a GeoCities page or something like that. Make it like Craig Digsby actually made like a really cheap GeoCities page or something like that.
Make it
Angel Fire.
Yeah.
Make it playable only on Real Player.
Well, Angel Fire is still around, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
No,
GeoCities isn't around, but Angel Fire.
No, they're both
right.
As far as I know, they're both gone. But Angel Fire's has been cached so you can still access it. I might be wrong about that, but I'm pretty sure like you can still access all of the old ones, but you can't make any new ones.
It's one of those is archived.
Yeah.
Either Angel Fire or GSA. I don't remember.
I feel like Angel Fire is the one that you can still get to. I'm not sure.
Con news, we are now affiliated with a group, and what did you say, agency group person, called Con Heroes, which is, rather than just answering the occasional email from a con that might have happened to maybe have someone on their staff that might kind of know who we are, we'll have someone will actually be representing us, I guess. So maybe that will mean more cons in the future. Maybe that will mean less. Who knows?
Hopefully by the time this is posted, we'll have our information up there and everything, get the Facebook pages updated, all that good stuff.
Yeah.
Well, maybe not,
because that literally just happened today. So
maybe not more cons so much as cons in different places,
right? As opposed to the same one. Not that there's anything wrong with that, because the only reason that we would go back multiple years in a row is because we like them, and hopefully they like us too. But
I mean, we're
looking to expand our horizons.
Yeah, we've already been confirmed for Kineticon, and we're going to be going back to GMX, of course. But that's all just Tennessee, Connecticut. So now we want to.
We do have another one that we still can't talk about.
Yeah,
we have a date when we can talk about it, but I'm not going to tell you because that would be kind of spoiling when it is. But don't worry.
Yeah, but we still haven't been out to the West Coast or anything like that, or anything further up north than, I guess
Connecticut's pretty far north.
Well, I meant further north, but not on the East Coast, I guess. But trying to expand our horizons on that.
A lot of people have asked us if we were going to VidCon, and that would be awesome.
Yeah,
I would love to go to VidCon.
We'll see. Maybe this will open up some doors.
That'd be pretty neat.
If you're listening and you are part of
VidCon,
or any other conventions and are interested in seeing us, you can now contact us at booking@conheroes.com, and we'll see what we can do.
Yeah.
Or podcast it on TV.
And
we'll forward it along.
Yeah. If you email us at podcast@THAC.tv, we'll probably just say either forward it or just email them.
We'll just forward it to them.
We could forward it for them. It's just an extra click.
I don't know, man.
Just straight up reject the email, send it back, be like, no. You have to send this to our agent.
Did you not listen to the podcast?
I looked on their website, and it seemed, or the VidCon website, and didn't really know a whole lot of those people, but I guess, I don't know.
But we also don't really keep up with the internet that much.
We're pretty bad at being online
people.
I guess.
our social media presence.
Yeah. God. We don't know anybody.
Hire a social media analyst or something like that.
Yeah.
Crunch all these numbers that are available for free on our Facebook page.
Just get them, like, hire someone to work clout for us.
Yeah, man.
I found
clout score up.
I found out the other day that clout is either owned by Twitter or some other. It's like some other big name website owns clout.
Clout?
Yeah.
It's basically a gamer score for your social media.
Nice.
Yeah, it is.
Do they have achievements?
No. Otherwise, I would do it. Cloud is like it. You give it your Twitter name. I used it I used it because I had a class that we had to sign up for to find out our Twitter clout score. But I think it has some kind of weird algorithm or something that measures how many people see your tweets, what your tweets are about, favorites, retweets, all that stuff, and assigns you just a number out of. I don't know.
It's out of 100. And
is it out of 100?
And as you get up, each number gets harder to achieve.
Okay.
And you can sign up your Facebook and your Tumblr.
Oh boy.
And your MySpace and your
Zanga.
And your LiveJournal.
I don't know. I'm just spouting off everything now.
And your Friendster.
Your Google Plus account.
Your Skype.
Nice.
Your
Skype.
Your LinkedIn account.
Yeah.
So if you can put Skype, can you put like your AOL Instant Messenger?
Of course.
Yes. Duh.
Your Yahoo Messenger, your MSN Messenger. Clout score is basically your internet score. Like how good on the internet are you?
Does MSN Messenger even exist anymore?
AOL Instant Messenger?
No, MSN Messenger.
Oh, MSN. I think it got absorbed by Skype.
So if it does, I want to fire it up again when I get home. Just
I'm not positive, but I think it might be.
All of my contacts from 7th grade. See if they're
spent
still
a lot of time working on my away messages for AIM.
Oh yeah.
Because I would always leave it up.
Oh yeah. It's
cool, edgy song lyrics and.
No, I never did song lyrics. Even when I was in high school, I was like, that's dumb.
I kept AIM up until like 2 years after high school, though. Like.
Oh yeah. I mean, I remember using it in early college because that was right about when Facebook Messenger became like the norm, and then once that existed, it's like, well, you don't really need this anymore because it's way more convenient.
I feel like MSN, since I'm guessing Microsoft owned that it would have just been absorbed by Skype, since Microsoft also owns Skype, and way more people use it.
Yep.
I don't know. So my All-Star Sexy Babe 2003 username is no longer necessary. Since now I can use my real name.
If they both mean the same thing to me.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of Tumblr.
Oh yeah, speaking of Tumblr and marginally related to Tumblr, I guess.
Yeah.
Yours anyway.
We're going to have a new thing on the THAC store.
Showing that we have sound business sense.
A new product.
A new product that you can give us your money for. It is a new sticker that we can put in the THAC section of the store. So,
even though it hasn't appeared on Troy Has a Camera.
It's
only been on your Tumblr.
Yeah, but we are getting a dog sticker. And if you're not familiar with what dog is, I don't blame you. It's just
go to TroyWagner@tumblr.com and
that's an email address. TroyWagner.tumblr.com.
Come on, stupid.
God. I don't work for Tumblr. I don't have a Tumblr email address.
Yet.
And there will be a tag there. I have just dog tags. Basically, they're stupid GIFs that I make with dog in them.
Maybe
anyway,
one day they'll become an actual THAC thing.
One day they will become an actual animated cartoon thing, kind of
which we've been talking about for like 2+ years.
The first time we were like serious about doing it, I think, was when we lived at the house.
Yeah, because we sat down and you like tweeted a picture of us sitting in the yard with the microphone.
And we were just talking about what we could possibly do.
Yeah,
and that was like 2 years ago.
Because that's
3 years ago.
Almost 3 years.
Almost 3 years ago.
So give it another 2 or 3, and it will eventually manifest itself.
Just make a Kickstarter.
Because the writing process for that one has just been, we talk in front of the microphone until something funny enough to keep happens, and then we write it down.
Yeah. Yep.
And then we forget about it and write something else down.
We'll just make a Kickstarter for it, because I mean that's basically free money. You just just put 1 million on there, and then hire an actual animation studio, and then it's that easy. Internet 3.0.
No, you can do the flexible funding on
Indiegogo.
Give me that money.
Give us your money. I know it's the wrong way to approach Indiegogo, but whenever I see flexible funding on something, my brain just knee-jerk reaction is, this guy is going to run away with this money.
Yep.
The person in charge of this is stealing your money. So, I mean, in case you don't know what that is, it's, you know how Kickstarter is like, you either reach your minimum goal or you get nothing. Indiegogo, one of the options is called flexible funding, and it's just whatever people give you, even if it's not your goal, you get it anyway. So, I mean, that just, whenever I see that, it just screams, don't give this person money.
But then if it's something that you need a set amount in order to do, like say you need X $1,000 in order to produce this thing, but you don't make enough for that, it's like, what do you do with the leftovers if you literally cannot afford to make that thing you said you were going to make?
Free money.
It's your money now.
It's your money now. I'm sure that has happened multiple times on Indiegogo.
Yeah. It's like, we need $50,000 to have these things manufactured, but we only got 45. I don't have $5,000. Guess I'm just going to keep this.
Yep. Sure.
Well, I think if you're that close, you could probably get like a $5,000 loan. Mm-hmm. But yes, what you said is, yeah.
So yeah, dog stickers coming to the THAC store. If you buy them, they will probably go to costs of making Dog an actual cartoonist at some point. In some weird roundabout way. Actually, they'll probably go towards making another Earth in You or something. Not that making Earth in You really costs anything per se.
But it's still, considering how long it takes to do Earth in You,
it costs
Dog will take much longer than that, just because...
Yeah. That's why I'm afraid of doing it by myself. It's going to take a long time.
Sorry, I can't animate. Otherwise, I'd
You
help
won't
out.
let us help you with Earth and You.
What do you mean I won't?
Consistency.
When did I say you couldn't help?
I said, give us some frames to trace, and you're like, well, I want to keep it consistent.
Well, that's just because a lot of the frames are very similar, and I could just copy and paste from the project file.
Also,
but,
we don't have that fancy tablet, so...
Also, you could use your mouse or whatever, but that would probably just end up taking longer in general.
I don't know what you're talking about. I'm a master with the trackpad on a laptop. Have you seen my fan art for anime?
You could probably just draw them from scratch on MS Paint, and it would look the same as if you tried to trace it with your mouse. Just sort of a blob guy with 6 huge sausage fingers and a mohawk. Everyone would have a mohawk.
Yeah.
Or just like a mop top kind of thing.
Yeah. We haven't really had like an actual schedule of making another Earth and You, but whenever we're not working on Marble Hornets, I guess.
Whenever we're not working on lots of
though.
other things.
Wait, what'd you say?
The audio is recorded, though.
The audio isn't recorded, it's just written.
Oh,
Yes.
okay.
We recorded the audio for the first one that we've already done, like, way in advance.
Gotcha.
Because
We weren't doing anything else.
And then, so we'll get on that one of these days.
The second Earth and You has been written. I read through it the other day, and there's a few things I want to change. But, I mean...
But,
it is a true
between
remake.
Marble Hornets and Nature Break and Earth and You and Dog
At some point.
and other things that we want to do, it's sort of the hardest part is which one do we set aside time to work on today?
Yeah, and of course that the time you set aside for it is kind of golden too, because with Marble Hornets it takes up so much time. When you finally have the free time, you get so freaked out about, oh man, I want to make sure I spend this right amount of time on this thing that we should be working on that isn't Marble Hornets, that it wastes a lot of time trying to decide which one you want to do. Basically what I'm saying is Marble Hornets sucks and I want it to be over.
Well, because Marble Hornets take so much longer to write because there's so many other things to keep track of. It's like, if we'll set aside a day where, okay, we're going to work on this THAC short, we can get it written in, we can get a fair amount of progress done in a couple of hours. But if we're working on a Marble Hornets entry, because there's so much more to it, we can spend an entire day and maybe have gotten somewhere with it. Just because
it's a lot of things to keep in mind when you have 80 plus things to remember.
Yeah, 80 plus entries and 5 plus. Well, and the To the Arc, so that's over 100, I guess, right? Total,
yeah.
There's got to be at least 20
To
the Arcs by now.
Yeah.
So,
jeez.
Yeah.
Man,
over
I have never worked on a thing this long before. Ever.
Sucks.
It's weird.
So have you been working on Marble Hornets longer than you were in college? Or
no? If we hit,
we're not going to hit that long.
No, we're not going to hit 5 years. I don't think. Let's see.
Never say never.
No, I'm just trying to think of how long I was in college because I started in
2006.
Fall of 2006, graduated December 2011. So that would be 4.5, right?
Spring of 2011. You said? Or
no, December 2011 was when I graduated.
That would just be 5 years.
Would that be 5 years?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, because if I started... Yeah, okay, yeah. So, yeah, if we hit 5 years, any amount past that will be longer than I was in college.
But we're not going to.
We'd have to go...
That's a dangerous thing to say.
Nope.
We'd have to go quite a bit longer to hit as long as I was in college, so don't have to worry about that.
Just abandon the series if it gets to that.
That's the deadline. If we're not finished with it by then, the last entry will be on the 5th anniversary.
Whether or not that's the
whether or not it's the end.
Yep. So you have that to look forward to.
Yeah.
So all these people asking, when's the last entry? It will, at the most, be then. Even if it isn't the last entry.
It'll be June 20th at the latest, regardless of whether that's the actual last one. Which, sadly, is one day off from Shadow the Hedgehog's birthday, which is June 19th.
Which I'm guessing was when Sonic Adventure 2 released in America. I'm guessing.
Probably.
That seems like it would make sense.
You really think the fan fiction writer thought about that?
I'm pretty sure they did. Let me. Where's my phone? I'm going to check this.
Let's find out.
Keep talking while I check this.
I think it's more likely that that's the author's birthday.
Pretty much any time I have to insert like an arbitrary date into something, like the video I had to make for my directing class, and I had to have a shot of the calendar, like I always choose June 19th as the day.
Yeah.
Just because it just feels right now.
Sonic Adventure 2. It was released June 19th.
Oh
Yes!
my god. Never
June
mind.
19th.
I did not give, what was the author's name? It was Shadow the Hedgehog something.
Shadow the Hedgehog 4, I think
Something
it
like
was.
that.
Yes.
It was a number.
Yeah.
I did not give them enough credit, and I apologize.
So you were one day off from Marble Hornets having the same release anniversary as Sonic Adventure 2.
I know. I did.
Gosh.
I'm
What year
sorry.
did they release?
2001.
Okay.
On the
Adventure
Dreamcast.
2 did? 2001? That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Because I remember I played it in the summer between
Sonic Adventure 2 is almost a teenager.
Yeah, it was in middle school. I played the hell out of it in that summer break between. I think it would have been 8th grade, I guess. I don't know. I played it a lot during that summer when I didn't have a job because I was too young to.
Nice. It's really weird to think about. Just Donkey Kong Country is almost old enough to drink. Mario World is almost. It's about as old as we are, just give or take a couple of years. It's like 1990.
Like NES Mario or Super NES Mario?
Mario World, Super Nintendo, yeah.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, I'm pretty sure actual Nintendo Mario is older than us.
Feeling old as heck. Yeah.
When did the original Mario come out on the NES?
It was like 85, 84, 85. But if you take Donkey Kong into account, it was earlier than that. That was like 83.
Yeah.
Like the arcade game. So.
When he was Jumpman.
Yep.
Yeah.
Jumpsman's. Jumpsman Brown.
Jumpsmith.
Jumpin' Willie.
That's what. That sounds like the North American name that they would have given him.
Jumpin' Willie.
Jumpin' Willie.
Jumpsuit Willie. They should have a sort of like Rocksmith or Guitar Hero or something like that. One of those rhythm games where it's running kind of like Bit Trip Runner, but it looks like Mario, and then just call it Jumpsmith.
Yeah.
Where you get like, there's different kinds of jumps.
Does Bit Trip Runner 1 or 2 have like a create a level?
I don't think so.
That seems like something that someone
Seems like it would be designed for that. Almost.
Yeah.
Well, because it's all the levels are perfectly synced with the music, so you'd have to
Well, in Rocksmith you can do that, can't you? Isn't that what
create your
Rocksmith-
own songs.
Isn't that what Rocksmith is all about?
No, Rocksmith is the one that's like, it's like Guitar Hero, but you can plug in an actual guitar to it. I don't think you can. I mean, there's people that do fan-made songs for like Guitar Hero or Rock Band, like on PC, but like you have to like make the file synchronized to the.
Yeah,
I know.
I mean, you could
whatever,
do that on Bit Trip Runner too.
That's what I'm saying.
It's just
It would be
the good
it would be-
ones would be upvoted or whatever,
Yeah.
and the other ones would.
It would essentially be
not.
the same principle of
Kind of-
syncing it to music and everything.
Or even if you had some generic obstacles or something and did something like audio surf.
I never found audio surf to really sync up with music that well anyway.
Not super well. It depended on what kind of music you did. Something with like really obvious like bass hits and stuff like that. Yeah, that would work. But if it was not that, no. Like I put in some like classical music or something, and it's just like it was weird. It didn't
Put in
match up
Beethoven's
at
Ninth
all.
Symphony and just play it for like over an hour straight.
It was
Like,
really
I get
funny.
all of this.
I uploaded. It was just an entire spoken word clip and everything, and there were like 2 spots to hit. It was like an MC Chris album, one with the interludes and stuff. And for a while, I had the top worldwide score on it
Nice.
because no one.
See, if you were
actually,
taking-
there were 2 other people that had done it.
See, what you could do is use that as like a learning tool if you were in like a foreign language class and they had like the audio tracks that you had to listen to, plug them into audio surf. That way it forces you to think about it a little more. Although you'd probably be
Except,
thinking
like I
about
said,
the
there were
wrong
only-
thing.
there
You
were
would be
only
thinking
2
about the
things.
Yeah, you wouldn't be thinking about proper pronunciation. You'd be like, "Oh man, I got to hit this sweet jump."
Except in the spoken word thing, there was nothing to collect except for 2 things, and there were no obstacles to dodge or anything. It was just ride down this blank track while MC Chris does a skit.
Basically, what I'm saying is take this podcast, put it on audio surf, get a high score, let us know about it. We'll give you a prize.
Yeah, email your high score to podcast@thac.tv and we will give you a pat on the back.
Screenshot that, of course. Of course.
Yeah. All right, now it's time to move on to everybody's favorite part, which is audience questions. Last time we spent so long on not just questions, but one particular question pertaining to a certain really fast blue hedgehog that we didn't actually talk about anything else after that. But no, that was the end. But there's nothing wrong with that. It's a nice conversation starter. So
it's funny because you're wearing a Sonic shirt right now.
I certainly am.
You're too slow.
It says "You're too slow" in sort of rainbowy color.
Where'd you get that?
I got it at DragonCon, and I got a discount because of this dark scuff on his face that I can't get to come off.
But it makes it look more authentic.
Yeah, it makes it look old and shitty.
No, the correct term is vintage.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Vintage.
Not old and shitty, it's vintage.
There was a...
Fuck yourself.
Speaking of which, speaking of old and shitty...
/ vintage.
Did you ever go to... At Alabama, did you ever go to the University of Alabama?
Yeah.
I mean,
The poster sale?
No, not the poster sale.
The t-shirt
sale? The vintage shirt sale they would have.
Yeah, and they were all fucking expensive.
I think I did go with you to one of those. And
and it looks like it's all stuff they got from the thrift store, and then now they're charging $20+ for everything.
$20 for that was a bargain.
Yeah,
they
I said $20+.
They had, I saw a few that were $60, $80.
Holy shit.
Shirts, like vintage shirts. I'm doing air quotes right now. Vintage shirts that I'm like, I'm pretty sure these people just got these from
their dad.
Their dad, their closets, or thrift stores.
And
I could
all
not
the
tell the
hipsters
difference.
were just eating it up.
There were hipsters all over it. Just it's like, oh, this shirt's only $80. Wow, this shirt that's way older than I am, $80. Wow,
Nice.
I'll take it. I'll take 3.
Yes. I would love to pay $80 for a John Cougar Mellencamp 85 tour shirt.
It said they were authentic too, but it's like, can you prove that?
That means they got it from a thrift store.
Yeah,
From an American thrift store.
Anyway.
Not one of those knockoff thrift stores.
Anyway, that just made me think of that and how stupid it was.
Yeah. So I'm segueing that into old and shitty / vintage Sonic shirts.
Yeah.
Anyway, questions. Adaminator asks, have any of you ever seen Evangelion? If so, what did you think of it? And if so, one further question, end of Evangelion, yes or no?
Is it Evangelion?
I thought it was
I don't know.
Evangelion.
Evangelion?
I've never seen it, so
But Joseph
I
has.
have.
Tell us your opinions on it.
It had giant robots, so that was a plus.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I'm always a fan of that.
Did Robotech have giant robots, or were they regular sized robots?
They were giant robots.
giant robots.
Okay, so
The main character jerks off at one point.
What?
cool,
Yeah.
In Evangelion?
Yeah.
nice,
And I don't know. I thought it was
tastefully. I hope tastefully
awkward.
Yeah.
It was like psychotic fuck up kind of, it's a trip, man. It's
Please tell me that's the ending he's talking about.
No,
It's
it's not.
Just some guy jerking off while eyeing straight into the camera, just like, this is what you asked for.
Oh, you like giant robots?
This is gonna definitely have the explicit tag on iTunes.
Oh yeah.
I hope you're watching this with subs and not dubs, you fucking pleb. Anyway, tell us about the ending, please. Is that better than the actual ending? Is that what?
I wish it had ended like that. I don't know. I don't hate the ending. I don't even know. I didn't know that there was any I mean,
I
absolutely hated it.
I don't know if there is. It's not implied, other than just end of Evangelion, yes or no, which implies to me that it must be at least semi-controversial.
Yeah, I thought it was fitting for the series. The series was pretty good. Don't show it to your kids because they jerk off and look you directly in the eye while doing it.
While talking about
Subs not dubs. Does that make me the anime expert of our panel?
Yeah,
yes,
absolutely. You have probably seen more anime than Tim and I maybe combined.
I watched a fair amount in high school.
I watched Dragon Ball Z, some Gundam. I've seen FLCL.
I watched all the Toonami stuff.
Yeah.
And then I've seen some stuff from Adult Swim.
Was FLC
we're
on
offending
Toonami or...
so many anime purists right now by saying this.
Yeah, all I've ever seen is Pokemon, and then
Pokemon.
But then I've seen
the original Dragon Ball freshman or sophomore year of college, which was pretty good. I watched like the first maybe 30 episodes of it or so.
I saw Evangelion or whatever. I've seen Ninja Scroll, Akira.
Nice.
Akira, like the movie Akira.
Yeah.
Or, okay. You said Ninja Scroll Akira like it was one thing.
No.
Okay.
Separate things.
Okay.
I watched Ninja Scroll even though I knew I wasn't supposed to. And after seeing it, I understand why I wasn't allowed to at that age.
Okay.
Gosh, what else have I watched? Birdie the Mighty. That came on one of the premium channels or whatever, and I remember watching that with one of our friends in middle school and stuff. And it was one of those where the guy, like, I don't know, he transforms into a girl and has powers or something, and like his dad wants to fuck him and stuff.
Okay.
It's an anime, basically. And after I saw that, I was like, you know what? I don't know that I'm into this anymore.
I don't think I like this.
I'll stick with my Dragon Ball Z, and I'm good.
I remember Bo.
Oh yeah,
on
nice.
Toonami, which is probably my most favorite title for anything. That was a pretty funny show.
Yeah. Shin-Chan is really funny.
Shin-Chan,
even though apparently the dubs are completely different than the...
I was watching... I have the first... It's like season 1, part 1 of Shin-Chan, or it's just season 1.
Yeah.
I have on DVD, and they have like behind-the-scenes dubbing stuff.
Uh-huh.
And they basically, from what I understand, because that show was so Japanese culture-centric with its jokes that wouldn't work here, they basically had to write each episode 3 different times with 3 different jokes and all the spots and pick the ones they like the most, and that's like...
I thought it worked pretty well. I liked it.
I wasn't a fan of the whole, like, haha Republicans thing.
Oh, whatever.
But, I mean, well, just because it was low-hanging fruit.
Yeah.
But...
he does the butt dance, though.
That's not Shin-Chan that does that, it's Georgie that is the young...
I know.
Okay.
I'm just saying in terms of low-hanging fruit, there's a butt dance.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
And there's the haha closeted nerd living next door kind of thing. What's funny is my girlfriend, who's from glorious Nippon, was telling me that apparently Shin-Chan, like when she lived there, that was like they would release those movies and stuff, and that was one of the big like take the family to go see the Shin-Chan movie and stuff like that. So it was completely different in that regard too, like not nearly as adult oriented in its humor as well. Like she said, like Hello Kitty movies, Shin-Chan movies, and then there was one other that I had heard of that was pretty innocuous, and then Shin-Chan, which I'm used to seeing on Toonami, being like bitch and pop culture crude joke and stuff.
Butt dance.
Yeah, butt dance. And I was like, that doesn't seem right at all. And
I
described to her some of the humor in the American dub, and she's like, yeah, that's not right at all.
So that would be kind of like having, like, I'm trying to think of a kid's cartoon here.
Toning down all the grown-up jokes in Rocko's Modern Life or something.
No. I'm just saying, like, for babies kind of thing. Like, that'd be like having... I'm trying to think of a kid's cartoon. I can't think of one.
Animaniacs. I don't know.
No, that's like... I mean, like baby cartoons.
Like Blue's Clues or something?
Like Blue's Clues or something.
I don't know that it was that extreme of a change. I think it would probably be... from what she was describing, more like something like Animaniacs or Rocko's Modern Life that does have jokes that the parents would get. And just making it all parent jokes, basically.
So,
parent
like
jokes.
Yeah.
So a Lego movie kind of thing. For their version, I mean. Like, for everyone.
Sure.
Yeah.
We'll say that.
Okay.
Even though I don't speak Japanese, I've never seen the original series, so I can't speak whatever, but I'm the anime expert, so...
You are.
Yeah. So
if you have any other anime-related questions, please email us at podcast@thac.tv with the subject, For Joseph.
Yeah.
Anime for Joseph.
And if I haven't...
Anime for Joseph or just anime expert.
And if I haven't seen it, I will look up a YouTube clip before I answer.
Yes.
And
please send us an email and we will forward it to our anime department. Located on the 3rd floor of our headquarters.
who Joseph is now the head of. I've just promoted you.
I'm vice president of anime studies.
You're the CFO of anime relations.
The chief fun officer.
The anime community outreach manager.
Chief subs officer.
I'll be the CDO.
Chief dubs officer.
Yeah.
I'm just going to talk down to you constantly.
All the time.
Yeah.
I'm just my office is just in the broom closet.
Sorry, I'm gonna have to call Troy down in the pleb department downstairs.
I will say that there is an animes that people have said I should watch and I'm kind of interested in because it's on Netflix, which is Attack on Titan, I think it's called.
Yeah, I've heard of that.
I've heard that it's pretty good and it's on Netflix, so I keep meaning to watch it at some point. Oh, yeah. I might watch it. We'll see. Maybe if I had the time.
Maybe I gotta work through Robotech again. I started watching that after drawing all that shitty fan art
on your Tumblr.
On my Tumblr,
which is josephdelage.tumblr.com if you would like to see shitty
because
fan art.
I am also taking requests for my next series.
He has refused to do Pokemon because he said it would be too hard to resist the urge to draw all of them.
Yeah, and also I like Robotech too. I'm not gonna say that.
Do Gundam Wings. They can do like Troya and Catra and all them in that style.
Duo.
Troa and Catra are the only ones I can think of because they're my favorites.
Hero, Duo, Troa, Catra. There's one other, wasn't there?
Yeah,
there was 5. Right?
It was Troa. Troa was the one with the ponytail, I think. No, Duo was the ponytail. Troa was the one with the ridiculous hair.
He had the blonde hair, and he was super feminine.
Yeah.
Hero was the main guy.
Catra was the wimpy guy.
Of course, the main guy's called Hero.
Duh.
There was a 5th one, right?
He did Shenlong. He was the... his Gundam was Shenlong, is what it was called.
It didn't have that whip thing or something?
Maybe. I feel like, because it was like
We're going to get so many angry emails.
It was an Asian guy. I think he had long hair too.
I thought they were all Asian.
Maybe? I don't know. No, Catra was from... I think he was Arabic.
Okay.
Because his Gundam was called Sand something.
Oh, yeah.
Sand...
Oh, yeah. Troya had the brown hair. Catra was the blonde.
Yeah, Catra was the blonde guy. Troa had brown hair, but it still swooped down really far. Duo was the one with the long ponytail. Yeah. But then Shenlong... Because I remember Shenlong... Because he was my brother's favorite. And he was, like, from Japan, I think.
Yeah, now I know what you're talking about. This is all Gundam Wing, of course. We're not talking about the other ones.
Yes. Just Gundam Wing. I know his Gundam was named Shenlong. Shoot, I'm going to look it up again.
No, don't. Let them email us.
Well, I'm going to look it up because I want to know. You can move on to the next question. Okay. Sorry.
The next question from Katie. For Tim, will there ever be another Let's Read? Yes. Question from Connor. Yes, there will be at some point. I just
when you feel suitably motivated.
Yeah. Well, I keep every once in a while I kind of go, I could probably do another one, tomorrow or something. But then
kind of like the poems.
But then I'll forget that the microphone is over here now instead of at my place. So that's really the main reason, because I don't feel like driving over and getting it.
Even though it's yours.
Yeah. Yeah, kind of like the poems. I was on a roll for a while for
like a whole week.
The Trim Sutner original poems Tumblr.
Poems.
Yes, Poemes.
I've gotten a couple of requests that we do some art and poem crossover.
I was going for like a week or two solid, but I did too many at once. Like you said, I burned out too fast.
Yeah. You burned too bright, man. You flew too close to the sun. The poetry sun. The poetic sun.
Yes. One of these days I'll get back on that.
What was his name?
Wu Fei.
Wu Fei, yeah.
Chang Wu Fei. Okay.
Because if I ever... Because I told you about this a while back, but with the Trim Sutner thing, whenever I get back on that, if I ever manage to hit 100 poems on there, regardless of if they're any good or not, I was going to print them out and just send them to some publishers just for shits and giggles, just to see if I could do it.
We, in my creative writing class, which I picked up as a minor because I didn't want to do music again. Because, whatever. I like doing things the hard way, apparently. But anyway, we just did this thing called flash fiction, which is just super short tidbits of fiction and stuff. And apparently it's kind of just like basically inbreeding within the literary community. It's like that's the new hip thing to do is write flash fiction, and they get published all over the place in all these journals that only do flash fiction, but the only people that read them are other
people who write flash fiction.
So what I really want to do, because we had to write a couple as an exercise, and the teacher was like, yeah, any of you guys could have been published with what you wrote in like the 10 minutes it took you to write that.
Wow.
So I really want to send mine in because they were
there's that
what's
it, Mars Field Journal on campus.
Yeah,
it's like the one they publish like once a year or something like that. Send some of it to that.
I was assistant prose editor on that one year. I was not a very good prose editor.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Why were you not very good at it? Just because, or did you not have anything good to work with?
No, there's plenty of good stuff. All we had to do at meetings was we were sent these packets of things that people submitted to it. It's basically like a literary journal, basically, and you had the poetry people and the prose people, and I was the prose assistant editor, I think, at one point.
So you're just required to read a bunch of stuff, and you just couldn't be bothered to read it?
No, I read all the stuff, but there was a lot of weird circumstances that made me miss a lot of meetings. And then at the very end, I'll never forget this, I was so embarrassed. At the very end of the year, we had to list our favorites. Or no, not our favorites, our...
editor's picks.
Was this a student-run thing?
Yeah, it was all student-run. We had to meet up with the actual, I guess, managing editor that's in charge of both of them and basically have the last word on what got printed. And almost all the ones that were picked were ones that I didn't remember a whole lot about. And I was really confused about that. And so, like, all of my stuff, all my lists were things that just weren't on there at all. And the managing editor was like, "You're not very good at this, Troy." I was like, "Oh." Like, she said that to my face. It's like, "Oh, sorry. I liked these."
Well, I have thoughts, but...
It was mean. She was mean.
Oh.
It's okay.
But in her defense, to her, I probably looked like a pretty shitty editor, but it was things beyond my control.
Yeah.
Anyway, I looked it up. I misspoke. Wu Fei is Chinese, not Japanese.
Yeah.
Hero is Japanese, which makes more sense. Hero, Japanese. Duo is American. Troa is unknown.
I should have known that was such an American name, Duo.
Yeah, I mean, I know plenty of guys named Duo. Catro was Arab. Chang, Wu Fei, Chinese. Yeah, that was. So they weren't all of the same place.
Then they named the next American character just like Adventure Man or something like that.
We should
Victory.
We should have some anime nights just to get caught up on our old childhood anime.
Victory Fight Man. Victory Fightmans.
Fight Guy Mick Bicep Face.
Fight Guy Punch'ems.
Punch
McRib Jr.
What?
McRib Jr.
Burger McDonald Guy.
Ronald McBurgerson. Anyway, what's the next question?
Ronald McArby Burger.
Ronald McKing Arby Wendy Chick-fil-A Sonic.
If you would like to submit fan art of Ronnie McBurgerson, please email podcast@THAC.tv. We'd be glad to take and share your submission. That's something we could do with the Facebook page. Share Ronnie McBurgerson fan art submissions.
Can I submit my own fan art?
Please. Yes. You can make that the new profile picture.
Yeah.
Instead of the THAC logo, it's just Ronnie McBurger Frankstein.
Ronnie McBurgerson can just be the new, can be the mascot.
Yeah.
Yep. or just the new logo. Ronnie McBurgerson is just the new logo for THAC.
We can have that can be a Dog's favorite place to eat is Ronnie McBurgerson's.
Ronnie McBurgerson's backyard deli.
Backyard hot dog deli.
Ronnie McBurgerson's backyard.
He doesn't realize they're called hot dogs.
Hot dog experience.
That'd be traumatic.
It's revealed that that they're called hot dogs in like the third episode, and his entire life just comes crumbling down.
There you go. That's the writing process for.
Yep. Okay.
For this thing that won't exist for quite a while, probably.
Next question is not so much a question as a correction from the previous episode concerning Mighty Morphin Power Rangers.
Oh, we should have led off with that.
Yeah, well...
Gotta do corrections for last week's fuck-up, or last double week fuck-up.
Double week?
So...
well, yeah, double week. It was 1 or double weeks ago, I don't know.
Yeah.
So, River says, in the original Japanese show, Zoo Ranger, only the Pink Ranger was female, so there was a suspicious bulge every time the Yellow Ranger transformed.
So it wasn't the Pink Ranger was also male.
Yes.
It was...
Yeah.
The original Power Rangers took fight scenes from 3 different Sentai, the show's Power Rangers was based off of series, which is why they changed up Zords every once in a while when they ran out of original footage. Because they didn't change costumes from season to season before Zeo, Saban, the company who produced Power Rangers, paid Toei, who made the originals, to create more scenes to supplement the show. In the original show, the Green Ranger straight up died when his candle went out. The character was trapped in limbo until he was brought out for evil and eventually good purposes. The other candles were purely the American show. Though the characters were skilled fighters, the suits granted them greater strength and endurance. The greatest line ever spoken in Power Rangers is, "Quick, they're at the quarry."
All right.
Signed, someone who knows way too much about children's action shows.
Yeah.
Thank you, River. We appreciate the correction because we know nothing about anything.
I don't remember the candle stuff at all from Power Rangers.
Either.
I mean, I remember there being a weird thing about the green /
I remember
White
the Mighty
Ranger
Morphin Power Rangers movie, and that's about it.
with Ivan Ooze.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who was played by the guy who was Belloc in Raiders of the Lost Ark. Same dude.
Wow.
Huh.
Yeah. I think he was also the priest in Hot Fuzz.
Wait,
that shoots guns out of his
serious?
sleeve. Yeah, that was Ivan Ooze.
I don't believe you.
His name is Martin... Paul Freeman is his name.
I'm looking it up.
He's a...
Go on. It's my turn to phone.
He's also... Whatever insurance commercial has the guy with the umbrellas and the bowler hat, that's him too. You know what I'm talking about? I think it's... Travelers?
Travelers has an umbrella, so maybe.
Yeah, he was like... He walked around in a black coat and a black bowler hat and an umbrella and stuff like that. That was him. That was Ivan Ooze.
Now I know all the things that Ivan Ooze was in.
Yep.
I don't even really know what he even looks like. I know what Ivan Ooze looks like, though.
Just watch Raiders of the Lost Ark again.
I mean, I imagine it looks like him, but purple.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
And a pointier chin.
Yeah.
That's about it. Next question. Kyle asks, what is your favorite video game series? I think we might have covered that partially in the last episode as far as... what your favorite video game series is?
Sonic isn't my favorite video game series.
Well...
No. I mean, it's just the one that I tragically know the most about. Just because it was because we were a Sega household when I was little. You said you were a Nintendo household, right?
Sort of.
Yeah.
My cousin was a Nintendo.
Holy shit, he was Ivan Ooze.
Yep.
Yeah,
he was also in Double Dragon.
Whoa.
As somebody, I don't know.
I don't know if I ever saw Double Dragon.
Let me see his face.
Character actors are cool.
Is that on the IMDb page?
Yeah.
Please tell me that when you looked him up, it said known for the Power Rangers movie.
Unfortunately not.
Oh, gosh, darn. I knew the most about Sonic because it's all because my brother had an SNES later, but it was in his room. I had the Genesis in my room, so I played more Genesis. I was kind of the hand-me-down of the consoles in my room because originally the Genesis and the NES was in my brother's room, and then the NES and Genesis were in my room when my brother got the SNES, and then the Sega Saturn.
So you were like a house divided. Well,
no, I think
brothers divided.
Well, it was just it had Super Metroid on it, so my brother wanted it. Which I can respect.
Valid.
Yeah, I can respect that because Super Metroid is one of the best games ever.
I never had a Genesis, but I did get to borrow my cousin's for a week because in third grade I broke my nose and had to stay in the house playing video games for a week because
that must have sucked.
I had giant plugs in my nose to have it set properly, and so the main one I remember is that I plowed through the Toy Story game for the Genesis, which was cool then. Bought it on Super Nintendo a couple of years ago, and I took it back the next day because it wasn't very fun. So that was disappointing to me.
You probably say that about a lot of games from back then.
That's why I I don't go back and play older games very often because I don't want my memory of them to be soiled. Still won't go back and play We're Back in Dinosaur Story, but for different reasons. Anyway.
Going back to the politics of my console layout in my house, in my parents' room was the Saturn, because my dad bought the Saturn on a whim, I think. So it was just in my parents' room. So I spent a lot of time in my parents' room playing the Saturn, which...
Did they even play it? Like, did your dad even play it?
Oh, yeah, my dad played it a lot.
But your dad was also one of those people that, like, beat Myst without the internet.
Your dad seems like a Virtua Cop kind of guy.
No, my Virtua Cop, we had Virtua Cop, but it was my brother's. He got it for his birthday one year. No, my dad liked the Myst type games. Because, he did beat Myst on his own without any help, which is crazy.
Castlevania 2, right?
He beat Simon's Quest without any help, and I really am not sure how he did that. And on the Saturn, the Saturn had Myst on it, but I don't think we had Myst for the Saturn. There was this game called Siberia. Not the Siberia game that you're thinking of, though. Not S-Y-Beria. This was C-Y-Beria.
Like Cyber.
Yeah, like it was in the future and everything. It was a pretty awesome game. I probably have nostalgia glasses on it, though, because I did go back and play it when I was visiting my parents' house before they moved, because I think my brother has a Saturn now at his house. But I went back through it to see if I remembered all the puzzles, how to do it, and I beat it in about 2 hours, because I remembered everything still. But there's this one puzzle that I remember. One of my video game moments from my childhood was there's this console you had to find the password for, and you could not, we could not figure out how to find the password for this console until my dad went back, watched these, because you could turn on these consoles, and each console would belong to a different person, and they would have video emails from people from around the complex you were in. It was like a research complex for some kind of weapon. The Siberia weapon is what it was called, Siberia weapon. And they'd been taken over by terrorists or something, and you had to go in and take the Siberia weapon for yourself, because you were just like an opportunist, basically. You weren't trying to save anyone, you just wanted to get it before they got it. So none of the scientists were there anymore. They were all dead or missing or something. So you could go through their terminals and watch their video emails from other people. You could go to those other people's terminals, and you would have to cross-reference them to figure out puzzles. But there was one video email from someone that just said, "I changed the password on your computer," and then she kind of leans down and goes, "I changed it to your hero. I hope that's okay." And my dad was like, "Changed it to your hero? What does that mean?" And so he went back, looked at that guy's computer, found out where his room was, went back to that room, and there was a picture of Albert Einstein on the wall. He goes back to the terminal, types in Einstein, and it works. And it's just like, my dad lost his shit when that happened. He was like, "I can't believe I figured this out!" When in reality, when I went back and played it again, it was pretty obvious that was the thing, because it's like all the rooms are kind of copy and pasted already, except for this picture of Einstein that was just sitting in it. So it was like,
well,
it was still awesome.
Different times. Yeah,
there's before strategy guides or anything, but that was one of those moments for the Saturn that I remember really well. Saturns are pretty cool. It was an okay.
I remember playing the Saturn for the first time. It wasn't even released yet.
Whoa!
And me and my grandparents had gone up to Oshkosh for the air show. And
Oshkosh? I thought that was a clothing brand.
No.
Well, it is, but
I remember. I know
it's also a place.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Because I know Oshkosh Bagosh, is that what it's called?
We were either in
company.
Dayton, Ohio for an air show there, or we were in Oshkosh. And Sega had a big truck set up, and it was in collaboration with Cherry Coke. Because Cherry Coke was just coming out. And they had the sides of the truck or whatever were lined with Sega Saturns, where you could play the Dragon game. I can't remember what it was. Panzer Dragoon. And I remember playing that and being like, whoa. And I had my little, medicine cup cap kind of thing filled with Cherry Coke. Like soda will never taste this good, and video games will never look better than this. And that was my first and only memory of Saturn, because I never saw one again until I worked at a video game store.
Yeah, I've never seen one. I don't know anyone who ever owned one. I have no idea what a Sega Saturn looks like.
They look kind of like fat Genesis.
Genocide.
For people listening, Joseph just said video games will never look better than Panzer Dragoon. Go on YouTube right now. type in Panzer Dragoon Sega Saturn and watch what that game looks like. Joseph thought, and everyone else at the time thought.
Everyone else. Don't point.
It could not get any better than that.
I remember
my most advanced game up until that point was probably
Star Fox?
Link's Awakening.
Oh, okay.
or like Donkey Kong Country or something.
I thought
Link to the Past.
I was going to say Link's Awakening was on the Game Boy.
Yes, that was my first ever Zelda game. Was because it came with my Game Boy whenever I was in kindergarten.
Yeah.
And I got really far in it, and then I got stuck on one dungeon because like the puzzle didn't make sense. And then around the year 2000, my dad printed off a strategy guide he found on this thing called the internet. Yeah, it was pretty crazy. And so it only took me about 10 years to beat Link's Awakening, but I finally did it because it was in this this dungeon called the Face Shrine, and the puzzle was bomb the place where the eyes have walls. I had no idea what that meant, and then finally I looked at the strategy guide, and it was like,
have eyes?
No, the eyes have walls because when you pause it, the map is in the shape of a face. So you had to go to where the empty spots were, which were the eyes, and bomb the walls next to the eyes. Because when I was 6, go figure, I couldn't figure that out.
Yeah. Up until that Panzer Dragoon, I had only played like 5 games. Super Mario 1, 2, and 3. Metroid on NES, and Link to the Past. There might have been one more in there. I didn't have another gaming system until the PlayStation, and my first game for that was Final Fantasy VII, which I got because the review from Toonami was so glowing on it. I was like, I have to play this game right now.
And now you've played it dozens and dozens of times.
Yeah.
All the way through.
All my
Probably
cousins ever
thousands of hours in that game.
Do you still cry when Aerith dies? Spoilers.
All my cousins ever had were Super Nintendo, so I had no idea that the NES even existed for a long time after that. It's like, wow, games were even.
I don't
older
even
than
know
this.
whose NES and Super NES we owned, because I guess they were like my mom's or something. Because I grew up with my grandparents, and I don't think they bought them for me. Because they were older than me.
The NES in my house was just kind of always there.
Yeah.
I don't know
who got that, because my grandparents wouldn't have gotten it.
It was just a constant. It was like the microwave.
I can't remember getting the NES. It was
I don't know.
just
I'll have to
there.
ask my mom. I just assume those are hers or my aunt's or something. I don't know.
Just like, thanks for buying that, parents. You've now you decided what I would be into for my entire life because of that.
Yep.
Pretty
something
much.
You were kind of like, yeah, this is pretty neat. Whatever, let the kid have it.
Yeah, he can. Yeah, tell him to shut up for a few hours. Give him this.
Now I spend probably a majority of my waking hours doing something involving video games.
Yeah, like just give him. Let him play Mario. Let him play his Godzilla games.
Fucking millennials, man.
Talking
about video games all day on podcasts.
Let him play Guardian Legend on the NES. Did Link's Awakening have a password system or a save system?
It was a save system.
Really?
It was pretty advanced.
Really, way back then, huh?
Yeah. And it was better than... Well, all of the Zelda games had save systems to a certain extent, but the original one, it basically just saved, like the number of hearts that you had, and I think maybe the equipment that you had, but I mean, if you turned it off and turned it back on, you'd still start at the beginning, but like maybe the dungeons that you'd already beat would still be beat, but that was about it.
Okay.
Link's Awakening, I think, was the first one where it would actually save like where you were in the dungeon or something like that. Like it was a
very
it was the first.
System.
I think it might have been the first save system that was actually worth a shit that they ever had.
If we're wrong,
maybe Link to the Past did as well. I can't remember which came first, or Link to the Past came first.
Yeah.
Because Link's Awakening was supposed to take place right after that when he sails away and then crashes on an island, and he may or may not be dreaming the whole thing.
Spoilers.
He's dreaming the whole thing.
Is he?
Yeah.
I've never played things.
You have to. The whole story is there's this giant egg on top of a mountain that has this thing called the windfish, the windfish that lives in it, and you have to collect all these instruments so that you can play a symphony and wake the windfish.
But in reality, it's waking you up.
Yeah. Well, it's given away in the title because it's Link's Awakening. See, because
you are the windfish.
Yeah.
I guess the
windfish was inside you all along.
I guess calling it Link's Awakening instead of Windfish's Awakening, people wouldn't really know what that was about, so they had to They kind of had to spoil the whole thing. So
Zelda, Wake the Windfish.
Yep.
No, just the Windfish's Awakening is what it was called. There's no other title on it. People might not have known what that was all about.
Game's still really good. I played through it again.
It was on. I saw it was on the eShop.
Damn right it is.
On the 3DS.
Because that was the DX version that was in full color. So, and I never had that. So I snapped that one right up because it was like $6 on the eShop.
I don't think I've bought a single thing on the eShop besides Pokemon Y because I don't want to give Nintendo money for their current behavior when it comes to the eShop with their ambassador program horse shit. I'm still really bitter about that because
I still bought lots of stuff on there.
At first, sorry, what were you gonna say?
Oh, I was just saying I've not taken that philosophy. I've spent more than I probably should. On there.
Well, yeah, I remember when you first got your 3DS, you were talking about the ambassador program. I was like, man, quit it with your nerd rage. It's fine. But then I got it and I understood like all these great Game Boy Advance games are out there, including fucking WarioWare, which is my favorite game of all time.
Yoshi's Island, like all of the NES remakes for Game Boy Advance, like the ambassadors got all of them, and they won't sell them. Like I will pay for those. I will pay money for those games.
No, but you don't understand.
The two best Game Boy Advance games, which are WarioWare, which is also the best game ever, and Wario Land 4. Yes. Or is it Wario World or Wario Land? I think it's Wario Land. Wario Land 4. Those are the two best GBA games. They are out there. You can get them for your 3DS if you're a fucking ambassador. If you can't, fuck you. Nintendo
I'm sure
hates
like
you.
Metroid Fusion and all those other really good ones are in there too.
Although I did read
Fusion was also one of the best ones. So.
I did read an article at some point, I think it was on Giant Bomb or something, that said it was in like the newest Nintendo Direct or whatever, which is like the little thing where like, hey, here's some stuff that Nintendo's doing, here's things that, whatever. I don't watch them or anything, but I heard what this one was about. They mentioned something about new games coming to the Virtual Console, but they didn't say if it was coming to the Wii U or the 3DS. I'm not sure.
All the good shit's on the Wii U, man. All of it.
Yeah, the console that no one owns.
We get
what all the good shit.
We
is
get
on.
3DS owners get 3D Kirby and 3D Excite Bike.
I mean,
not that there's anything wrong with Kirby's Adventure, but
which was the second Kirby game on the NES, right?
That was the only one on the NES.
No, I know that. I mean, it was the second Kirby game, which was on the NES. I know the original was on the Game Boy.
Yes,
but this was the second one. Yeah,
that was another one of my first Game Boy games. Was Kirby's Dream Land.
What was
and
the
it was really short. What is your favorite video game series?
WarioWare.
Just the WarioWare series in general.
Well, I say that, but it's really more just like the original one because you lent me Twisted. It was all right. I haven't played Touched. I have DIY, and it's pretty good.
Twisted? I don't know. I think I might like Twisted better than the original one by a very close margin. Like, those first two were awesome. Touch, I could live without Touch.
I heard Smooth Moves is really good, but I don't own a Wii, so I can't play it.
That one was really cool. Mainly because the boss level for the ones that are always old Nintendo games was the first level from the original Star Fox, but you had to play it with the Wiimote and like steer it and fly it with the motion controls.
Corneria.
That was pretty awesome. Yeah. Well, I was trying to think favorite video game series. I was like, man, that's a tough question when I go with like Mass Effect or Assassin's Creed or something like that.
Zelda.
Or Zelda or something. But I think the one that I would pick for my favorite, you might want to change it to this too, which is definitely Monkey Island. That one I would have to say is the one that I've been going back to the longest.
Well, are you saying series in general, or just Curse, or what? Okay,
just the series in general. Yeah.
I would put WarioWare. I would put WarioWare above that just because it's close. But yeah, I can see that it's close. But WarioWare is a game that has pure replay value, whereas like things don't change in Monkey Island. It's still good.
Yeah.
But it's like WarioWare is almost like a musical instrument in that you will never perfect it ever. You will never ever ever be perfect at WarioWare.
I don't know. The original WarioWare, I played it a lot because it was my default toilet game. So I 100%ed like everything.
Yeah, you might be able to 100% it, but could you play every micro game forever?
By choice, or if I was forced to? Because I mean, I could play them for quite a while.
Did you?
Because to 100% them, you had to play every single minigame by itself for a really long time.
No, you had to play every single minigame by itself for a certain. You had to get a certain score. They were all different for all of them. Mm-hmm. Because I remember I got all of them but 2, which was the ski jump one and I can't remember the other one actually. It might have been the nose picking one where the fingers are moving around. You had to put the finger in the nose because it was like 40. You had to get 40 of them right or something. All the other ones I got.
Start getting bloody boogers, man.
Yep. I started.
That's gross.
Yeah, I got them all besides those 2. I think. And
so I managed to get them all because you get another arcade game, which is pretty much the same as the one that you already unlocked, just slightly different.
Royo or something?
But it was like Ponroyo 2 or something like that.
Which is, he spit seeds instead of his tongue.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, you might have gotten a high score on that, 100% of it, but did you get the infinity score in all of them? Did you play them all forever?
No.
Then you're not perfect at it.
I did not play them all forever.
So you're not perfect at it. You can't beat it. It cannot be beaten. Monkey Island can be beaten.
Dubs, not dubs, you pleb.
That's what I'm saying. Is that is the kind of replay value that people go for, or not really people go for, but like in perfect, not diluted, straight up 100% replay value. That's what that is, and that it is so replayable that you will never stop being able to play it. I guess, but although I guess you could also say things like Grand Theft Auto.
I mean, I would say pretty much any game. I would just say the replay value is until you get bored of it.
Yeah.
It just depends on how long that takes.
I guess you could see everything.
Because I eventually got bored of WarioWare, but it was also after I put a lot of time into it.
Man, I ain't bored of WarioWare. WarioWare's still great.
That's why I bought Twisted. So never got bored of Twisted because I don't think I got very far on that.
I might not have liked Twisted as much just because you gave me. It was on the Game Boy Advance, right? Mm-hmm. So I had my DS Lite, which is what you gave it to me for, and so it was upside down, because it had the little gyroscope, I guess it was. It had a gyroscope in it that you twisted, twisted it around to do all the mini games, and I think being upside down because it was meant to be on top of the.
Well, I think it can be calibrated to be either way because I played it on my Game Boy Advance SP and it goes in upside down on that one too.
Oh, okay. So I was gonna say maybe it had something to do with the fact that it was upside down in mine. And
maybe you just suck.
Maybe just the playing it on the DS was a little too big or something. I don't know, man.
The DS was kind of awkward, and it was a DS Lite, so it was a smaller one.
Yeah.
But I do know that Mario 64 was pretty much ruined by the DS because of just how weird it was, because you just had the D-pad.
Yeah.
Which every time I think about it,
much more playable on the 3DS because of that joystick.
Yeah. Every time I think about it, I keep meaning to go back and get my Mario 64 cartridge and put it in the 3DS. But the problem is, the 3DS doesn't have the 2 slots in it that the DS Lite had, and I guess the regular DS had, where you had the GBA slot and the DS slot, so you could have 2 games you could play at the same time, or not at the same time, but you could pick which one. So it was more convenient, and so now it's like, I have to take this out, put another one in.
Oh my god!
So yeah. Although there was this idea that I read one time that someone had, that I don't know why Nintendo never took advantage of it. They were like, I think Nintendo had a game that wasn't received well or something, and they're like, we ran out of space on the card or something for it, and someone was like, what you should do is you should take that game, make it the DS card, which is like a little SD card, it looks like, basically, and put the rest of it on a GBA card, so you can put both of them in at the same time, then you have more memory for your game. I don't know why Nintendo never did that.
Maybe they already knew they were going to be doing the 3DS at some point, so that they couldn't do that.
That just seemed like a way to make a game better and make it bigger and stuff.
But yeah, for me, I would definitely have to say Monkey Island. Wasn't a huge fan of the Telltale ones, but 1 through 4. Everybody talks shit about 4, but
4 was pretty awesome.
Other than the monkey combat, everything else about it was easily just as good as the other 3, I think.
I think I spent about as long as monkey combat as I spent on the rest of the game.
Yeah.
Not because I liked it, but because it was so time consuming.
Yeah. But 3 was the first one that I ever played, and I don't know if that was for you as well. I don't know if you played the older ones, but that one is the most genuinely funny game I can think of that I think I've ever played. Just like the voice acting delivery coupled with just like all of the jokes in it. It was just really well written, I think.
I would say that was the high watermark of LucasArts games, was that one. Because it was 2D animated, like traditionally animated.
Yeah.
It animated really well. The jokes were really funny. Most of the puzzles were intuitive. Aside from the Carnival of the Damned at the end. Those didn't make any sense.
Those were those didn't make any sense, but they were also
callbacks to things you didn't know you were supposed to remember.
But they were also just kind of funny because they were so absurd. Like, you get the hair of the dog that bit you by trying to punch the dog mascot until he bites you with his giant stuffed head.
Yeah.
And then tears some of the hair off of his costume.
And then,
you have to get egg by
the meringue
meringue on a pie by getting the guy who shoots pie at a clown's face to shoot you with it instead.
And you do that by putting an anchor in one of the pies, so it knocks the guy out, and you go in his place, and you get hit with the pie, and you take it off and put it in your inventory.
Put it in your pocket.
Yeah, because you need hair of the dog that bit you, egg,
and pepper, which you just got from a pepper grinder.
Yeah. Yeah, and then you put it all into the snow cone that the guy gives you and you eat it. That was probably the dumbest puzzle, but it was funny in its dumbness. Although, I guess the part where you have to do the lights in the theater...
That was really funny just because of the anachronism, because he's like, oh man, it smells really burnt up here. It must be the shoddy 17th century wiring.
Yeah. Someone's been monkeying around with the controls and there's banana peels all over it.
Aha!
Anyway, yeah, I can get behind that.
I really wish they would make an HD version of that one, just because it already looked pretty good. Just it was in low resolution, so like I can only imagine what all those animated assets in high res would look like. I would easily pay for that one in a heartbeat. But I feel like maybe they don't have those original assets or anything anymore. Like I think they said the reason they were able to do the first two in HD was because they still had all of those painted backgrounds. They just had to rescan them all in higher resolution, I think.
Maybe it's something that LucasArts has that they didn't give Telltale or something.
Maybe so. Well, I mean, Telltale didn't... I mean, LucasArts was the one that made the
were they?
The HD remakes,
Okay.
I think they have like a new CEO now or something like that, so... Please give us Monkey Island 3 HD.
That'd be great. Yeah. Just give us Curse. Don't change anything.
Don't change a thing.
Don't change anything and just make it at high resolution.
Yeah.
Make it, you know how you always have games that are like the HD remake or whatever, and it's different in some way.
Yeah.
Along
like
with
Cave Story 3D.
Yeah, like it's not the same game. It's not just an HD version. It has different stuff on it. Make it literally just an HD version of Curse of Monkey Island. That's all.
Yeah. Remake Final Fantasy VII.
Don't do that.
Wasn't that one where they said they would have to like rewrite all of the source code for it in order to make an HD remake or something like that?
They haven't really given a good answer, but it doesn't matter because they would animate it up way too hard.
Well, what would you say your favorite video game series is?
I've been sitting here trying to think of it because there are a lot of games that I will play the absolute shit out of.
Like Armored Core?
Armored Core I'll play a lot of. The Mass Effects I've played through Mass Effect 1 100% of the way through 4 times, and then an additional playthrough, and then Mass Effect 2 I've played through 4 times, 2 of which were 100%.
But you haven't touched 3 yet.
I haven't touched 3 yet. And like Dynasty Warriors 4, I went through and I maxed out every single character, got all of their ultimate weapons and stuff, and all that was basically hack and slash.
I was gonna say, just thinking about that's putting me to sleep. That sounds boring as hell.
But man, I timed it up to where if the person had a polearm, their jump heavy attack they would drop the spear down on the ground, because I still remember the best level to grind for attack stats and just general points and weapons and stuff was this really long map where you ended up taking out around 1,000 enemies or so. And then at the end, it was like the boss of this rebellion. I can't remember. It was like the Yellow Turban Rebellion, I think. And I could time it to my killing blow on him. He would fall down. He would do a little cutscene.
And then you would jump in the air.
Like right when it cut back to right before it would be like, level complete or whatever, I would land on his corpse with the polearm. And I was like, just gotta get to that point. But I was like a machine on that one. But I'd say as far as series, like I'll just keep playing the games if they keep coming out with them. I was going to say Final Fantasy, but then I remembered I haven't played 13. I'm not going to play 13. I'm not going to play 13 too. If I ever have money and I get a PS4, I'll probably play 15 when it comes out because it actually looks significantly different.
I didn't even know that they were talking about 15.
Yeah, man. It looks pretty cool. And it looks
So there's a 14 already?
It's the MMO.
The Realm Reborn thing.
Oh.
That's 14.
But the turn-based, like, for a new game that's released, turn-based combat like that kind of puts me to sleep, and I won't play through it all the way. And I won't play the MMOs because I just don't really like MMOs anymore.
Yeah,
we
we
had
already
our
went over that
MMO
one.
feature.
We already went over that one. So I would say Pokemon because I've played every single Pokemon game since Red and Blue.
Yeah.
And I still like that series. I'm still into it.
Yeah. Well, I mean...
I'm pretty hyped about this whole Twitch Plays Pokemon thing.
Yeah.
Keeping updated.
It is possible to play, like, every single game in a series, but still not have it be, like, your number one favorite. Case in point, I
Sonic.
just finished playing all of the Assassin's Creed games, and I enjoy them all, except maybe 3. I didn't really care for that one that much. I've played through all of them, but there's still lots of things about them that I don't like, but the good has outweighed the bad just enough to keep me interested. Although 4 is just pretty awesome all around. But it's mostly just the modern day stuff.
I could say that about Mega Man. Mega Man and Sonic, I'd say I've played almost all of those games, and Legends was probably the best by far. I don't know if you agree with me on that, but
I only played Mega Man 64, which was like the N64 version of Legends, but it just felt like it wasn't finished to me. Like there were just a bunch of really open areas with nothing in them, from what I remember. So maybe I just don't remember it very well. Maybe the 64 version wasn't done as well.
I recently went back on my tablet and had the PlayStation emulator on it, which is okay to do because I own the game.
Yep.
I own Mega Man Legends. I didn't steal anything.
I don't think I've ever emulated a game that I haven't owned at some point.
Yeah, I like going back to games that I played before.
Because most of the time on those old games, I got them because I wanted to play them.
Yeah.
And if I'm thinking about an old game, I'm like, I want to play that game that I'm looking at with rose-tinted glasses.
Yeah, that's what I did. Is I went back and I was like, I wonder if Mega Man Legends 1 and 2 are as good as I remember. And yes, it is. It is still really awesome. It's basically Zelda Man, is what it is.
I mean, some of those games you can't even play without an emulator now. Like Monkey Island 3, you have to use the Scum emulator to get it to run on Windows. Or like DOSBox for any of those old DOS games.
Well, unless you get it off GOG, then it's like optimized.
Well, a lot of those
existed.
Well, a lot of those on GOG actually are run on DOSBox. Like they just auto launch DOSBox. So,
but I think
because I know Commander Keen, that I bought that on Steam, and it's still like it runs DOSBox first.
Yeah,
because man, Commander Keen's another one because that one might be, I don't know if it's the first game I ever played, but it was up there because we had the shareware. Floppy disks.
I did too.
But it was only episodes 1 and 4, so then I just flipped shit whenever I got on Steam, and I was like, wow, I could get all of them for like $3.
I just had
so Aliens. I could see the ones that I missed out, and then I never actually played those.
Which one was 1 and 4? Aliens Ain't My Babysitter?
That was 6, which was made by a different company.
Okay,
which you can only find it for free online now. Like it's not sold with all the rest of them.
Okay, because I had Aliens Ain't My Babysitter and Goodbye Galaxy.
Goodbye Galaxy was 4.
Okay.
1 was, or no, wait. Maybe 1 was Aliens Ain't My Babysitter. It's the one where you have to go to Mars and get the pieces of your ship back. That's with much lower res graphics than 4. Because 1 was old enough that the sound was it made little chirps out of your PC speaker, like the physical little speaker thing inside your computer. 6 was something else then, I can't remember. It looked just like a reskin of 4 and 5, but it had these big old one-eyed alien dudes that would chase you around. Also, Keen Dreams, which was sort of an in-betweener that I think you can also only find for free. That one's the one where you run around in Keen's pajamas and fight like giant potatoes. Yeah, it's all the enemies are food because it's Keen's dream, you see, in Keen Dreams.
Yeah.
And so you have to fight like vegetable monsters because I remember the health power-ups were sweets, So the vegetables were the bad guys because he didn't want to eat his vegetables.
Good thing to teach kids.
Yep. Okay, next question. Troy asks...
Which is not actually me.
Yes,
someone
it's a different Troy. As a child, were you ever exposed to movies /TV /etc. that was way above your age range, and what was your reaction?
Well,
yes.
Let me... A lot of the movies now that I really like that were, I wouldn't say cheesy, but that might be considered cheesy now, but no, they're not cheesy. They just fucking rule. Which is, movies that fucking rule, MTFRs, are something that you wouldn't put in...
Like a greatest movies of all time.
Not a greatest movie. You
wouldn't even nominate them for an award.
Yeah. No. Unless the award was a movie that rules the fucking most.
Yeah.
So movies that fucking rule were definitely some of those that I saw when I was a kid. Because I saw RoboCop when I was younger. I don't know how. I wasn't allowed to watch Ren and Stimpy. But I saw RoboCop.
Accident.
I saw it, maybe it was by accident. I don't know.
Did you see an uncensored version or like a TNT version?
I don't remember. It might have been a TNT version.
I never saw the non-TNT version until we watched it like a couple of weeks ago. But I still vividly remembered everything that I had seen.
But
which was probably about half of it.
Of movies that fucking rule, RoboCop rules the fucking most to me. Yeah. I think I saw that when I was a kid. You wouldn't put Jurassic Park in that, I guess, because Jurassic Park...
That was just a good movie.
Yeah. So...
What did we say? Total Recall.
Total
Recall fucking rules.
I remember seeing Total Recall at one point when we were in a hotel. My dad was watching on TNT, and it had the part where they go out into they fall out of the window and they're out there and their eyes
all swelling.
Their eyes bulge out and everything. And I saw that. That gave me nightmares. I was terrified of those faces. I was like, what's wrong with those people's faces? Mars is terrible.
Because I was never allowed to watch R-rated movies until I was a good bit older, but anything that was on TNT or anything like that was fair game. So like RoboCop and Terminator and all of those were, definitely on the viewed list as an 8-year-old, which RoboCop is a pretty good one.
Is Terminator a movie that fucking rules, or is it just a good movie?
I would say that is a good movie.
That I don't know. It kind of falls under both because the first one is, the production values are a bit lower. It looks a little cheaper. I think the sound quality isn't quite as shiny as 2 is, but it's still really it still fucking rules.
I do have an argument against that. I would say that by the merit that it is, a lot of people consider it a landmark film because it started the Terminator series and everything like that. I think that excludes it from being a movie that fucking rules, because in my mind, a movie that fucking rules generally is pretty standalone, because RoboCop, while it does have sequels, those don't count.
2 and 3 does not count.
Those do not.
The thing about Terminator 1 was that back in those days, James Cameron really only did B movies, and Terminator was just expected to be just another B movie. So if it was something that wasn't, that sort of accidentally became what it is today, I think that could still qualify as a movie that fucking rules.
I don't know. I think that one is solidly in a gray area.
It was accidentally a great B movie.
Yeah. I saw some movies that were definitely out of my age group. I saw The Rock when I was like 12 or 13. That was my first rated R movie. I would not say that movie fucking rules. I think it's okay.
It's okay.
But it does not fucking rule.
Wait, that's the one with Sean Connery in it, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And Nick Cage.
That was a Michael Bay one, wasn't it?
Yes.
And also John C. McGinley from Scrubs was in it.
Yep. He was a mook.
He was a mook, yeah.
And then I also saw, like I said earlier, Ninja Scroll, which is way out of that age group. That was more scarring than...
That's an anime, right?
That was an anime. And I was, like, watching that, I was like, I can see why my mom didn't want me to see this. And then she found out I saw it, and she's like, what did I tell you? I'm like, you said I shouldn't have seen it? She's like, what did you learn? I'm like, I really should not have watched that. But neither of those movies, I would say, fall under movies that fucking rule. I don't know. I have 2 movies that I would say are at the top of my list. Starship Troopers.
Yeah, that would probably be my number 2.
Yeah, Starship Troopers fucking rules.
That movie does fucking rule.
But let's hold on for a second, because I want to get mad at the internet for a minute about Starship Troopers.
Okay.
Just because there are a lot of people that are, like, act like they're smarter than others. Like, see, it's parodying this fascist state. It's all a message.
No shit.
It's bad on purpose. If you watch that and you don't think that it's bad on purpose, you're fucking dense.
I don't know what to tell you.
Like, I don't know why you would feel superior about that, but I've seen that come up multiple times.
Well, I mean, it was made by the same guy who made RoboCop, which is also a blatant satire. So it's like
if you really don't...
And Total Recall. So.
Like, it's not even, like, subtle satire.
Mm-hmm.
It is really fucking out there. But also, Speed Racer, the Wachowski brothers.
Yes.
It gets a lot of hate. We've been over this. But it's completely undeserved.
I don't think it gets a lot of hate so much as it gets a lot of not being remembered.
It gets a lot of bad reviews.
Oh, does it?
It does.
I've still never seen it, but now I want to because you've given it such glowing
it
praise.
fucking rules, and I have it. You can watch it.
I remember when we lived in the townhouse, I would catch you just watching it sometimes.
Yeah, man.
Just because. Which, it's
it
fine.
Fucking
It fucking
rules.
rules.
Fucking rules. I would think I would put Starship Troopers just a little bit ahead of Speed Racer just because I think Starship Troopers is hilarious.
Oh yeah, I should also say that when I say RoboCop, I don't mean the remake that just came out. I don't want to see that.
I think we're all just philosophically opposed to seeing the new one.
Because we just watched the original one a couple weeks ago to refresh our memory.
There was no reason to remake.
I didn't watch it for the first time.
It was
Blu-ray.
mine
We
and
just
Tim's first time
rewatched
seeing it.
It was my first time seeing the non-edited for TV version, which was really strange.
And it was my first time seeing it, period.
It fucking rules, doesn't it?
It fucking rules. It fucking rules.
Because it's like, there's no long, like, cool-down period after that. It's like, the big thing happens at the end, and then it's fucking over.
It's like, done.
Yeah, I did this thing. Bye.
I just killed the big bad businessman. What's your name, son? Murphy. That's all I said. That's how it wraps up. It's the perfect wrap up when you think about it because he doesn't say RoboCop.
Right.
He says Murphy. He says his name.
It's beautiful.
It's a nice way to wrap things up.
It's a fucking awesome ending to a fucking awesome movie.
A movie that fucking rules.
A movie.
It's an ending that fucking rules to a movie that fucking rules.
I think more movies could benefit from cutting off like right after the climax like that. Like, say if Jurassic Park had ended with the T-Rex roar instead of the flying away in the helicopter or something like that.
Although that would also rob us from the noise that Jeff Goldblum makes in the plane.
No, that's near the beginning.
Oh, that's near the beginning?
Yeah.
I thought that was near the end.
That's right when they're about to land. And he's like,
okay. Well, it would steal the joke of after some consideration, I've decided not to endorse your park.
Oh yeah.
Which I think is a pretty funny way to end
it. In the book Jurassic Park, Jeff Goldblum's character dies.
Yeah.
But then in the Lost World, they're like, "Oh no, the media just reported it wrong. I wasn't dead." Except like the narrative of the book says that he's dead.
Whoops.
So it was like a really not that great retcon.
Good job.
Did they really have no one else to choose from?
I guess.
They can't make a new character.
No.
Which the book,
this movie and book filled with new characters can't make another one.
Which the book The Lost World was basically the movie Jurassic Park 3, except with Jeff Goldblum's character instead of Dr. Grant. Like the second movie is nothing like the second book at all.
I might be
the second movie is, I would argue, probably better than the second book was, honestly.
I would say that I might be misremembering it. I haven't seen it in a long time, but I would say that Jurassic Park 3 is undeserving of criticism it gets. I think it's an okay movie.
That's the one where the T-Rex gets in San Francisco, right?
No, that's Lost World.
Oh, okay.
Remember there's that scene wherever Dr. Grant falls asleep on the plane and he looks over and there's a raptor staring at him and it opens up its mouth and goes, "Alan," and then it cuts back and shows that he was dreaming. Also, it has the magical Velociraptor horn.
Yeah.
Like,
well, no, that ending was stupid, but I would say as far as the Jurassic Park craziness goes in it, it is not on the cusp, but within spitting distance of being a movie that fucking rules because of that.
I would say the second movie gets undue criticism. I think that one's a lot better than people give it credit for the most part.
I don't remember anything about it.
Can we agree on this? Jeff Goldblum is an actor that fucking rules
yes.
in those movies.
You know what? I would also say...
Period.
I would also say The Fly fucking rules.
I've never seen The Fly.
That,
I really want to.
Speaking of Jeff Goldblum, he's in that movie. That movie fucking rules.
That was another David Cronenberg one, wasn't it?
That one is looked upon pretty fondly, though.
It is, but not a lot of people really remember it, I would say. I mean, people say that it looks like this movie that's just, oh no, the horror, monster of the week type thing, but it's actually a really good movie, but it also fucking rules. Well, I don't know. Maybe. It's not really action-y, so maybe not.
We have an impasse here. Like, what do we actually categorize as a movie that fucking rules?
I would say Terminator fucking rules. I would say Terminator 2
had
fucking...
a change of heart, you'd say...
I never said anything against it, I don't think.
Okay.
I would say that Terminator 2 fucking rules, and it is also a good movie.
I think Terminator 2 is just a good movie. I think
they can be both.
I think it's big enough to where it well, I say that, but I'm pretty sure Speed Racer had a pretty fucking huge budget too, with all the special effects they dumped into that thing.
Well, I mean, it was Wachowski brothers, so of course they would get a ton of money after The Matrix.
I don't know.
Watching The Matrix for the first time fucking rules.
Everything after that fucking doesn't.
Yeah, but...
Bubba Hotep fucking rules. I would say that.
That's true.
Yeah.
That is a factual statement.
Yes.
I've actually never seen Bubba Hotep.
It has a very absurd sounding premise when you read it.
Yeah.
And then watching it, it makes total sense. But it's also one of those where, say you would put it on thinking you'd be watching another wacky, cheesy B movie, but there's more to it than it looks like there will be.
The reason I ended up watching it, because when I was working at Zone 1, the used video game and movie store and stuff, we just had a bunch of copies of it, and I thought the cover of it was hilarious.
Yeah.
So I was like, screw it. And one day I just watched it, and that movie fucking rules.
Because we were it was gonna be like watch a wacky B movie night at a friend of mine's house, and we put that one on, but then we stopped sort of making fun of the movie because it was like, oh, this one's actually a good one.
Mars Attacks. I say that movie fucking rules.
Holy shit.
That movie fucking rules. I was thinking about it. What about
that one? Might be my favorite Tim Burton movie. I think
that might have actually been some subtle influencing of the Tim Opens Another Present sound because they go
just on a subconscious level.
Don't run. We are your friends. We come in peace. That movie fucking rules. That movie was not afraid to kill everyone.
Yeah, that was hilarious.
What was it?
It kind of scared me as a kid.
Yeah, I was like, holy shit, they killed Michael J. Fox. That's not cool.
Was it Pierce Brosnan or Sarah Jessica Parker that had their head transplanted onto a dog?
Pierce Brosnan.
Yeah. She just had her head just kind of floating on something.
Yeah.
And then
I won't watch that movie again.
It bit off Martin Short's face. I remember that.
Finger.
Oh, his finger, yeah. Well, no, but then she leans in for a kiss, too, and, bites his lips off, too, doesn't she? I think so.
Yeah,
I say
she.
It's actually an alien, but...
Yeah. Oh, it's an alien robot, isn't it? Oh, no, it's an alien.
Yeah, they're dressed up. Also, Jack Nicholson is in it twice. Yeah. Or is it 3 times? I think it's just twice.
Doesn't he get, blown up? Isn't he the president or something?
He's the president and gets impaled with the Mars flag, and then he's also the Texan, oil baron guy who gets, crushed by the rolling planet or something like that. I think I remember reading something like Jack Nicholson's agent or something like that was just you cannot kill off Jack Nicholson in this movie.
So they did it twice?
Tim Burton was like, I want to kill you off twice. What do you think of that? And he was like, go for it. I like it.
Would you say... I just say this because I haven't seen Army of Darkness, but I would say Evil Dead 1 and 2 fucking rule.
All 3 of them fucking rule, I think.
That's just...
Would you put movies that fucking rule in the same category as B movies that are just awesome?
Evil Dead is absolutely a B movie that's awesome.
Yeah, but is it just in the same category as movies that fucking rule? Or is it just one of those shocking, amazing B movies?
I would say it
fucking rules.
I would say it fucking rules. Yeah.
I think all 3 of them fall into that category for different reasons, because
it is definitely
Evil Dead is creepier than it has any right to be for how cheap it is.
Yeah.
Army of Darkness is really, really funny, and then Evil Dead 2 is a really, really good mix of both of them.
Yeah.
It was the sort of the perfect mixture of those two. If you watch Army of Darkness and think it's too wacky, or watch Evil Dead 1 and think it's a little too creepy. Like, Evil Dead 2 is
The good mix.
like a good meld of both of them. Like, it's got the creepy moments, like whenever everything in the house just starts like cackling at him. But then there's also whenever his possessed hand starts breaking dishes over his head.
Yeah. Again, I'm really depressed that this has to be said. We are talking about the original Evil Dead, not the remake.
I've never seen the remake.
Wait,
but
they made a remake?
They made a remake last year.
Oh.
And it was super spooky.
I don't know. I've heard.
Why?
It seems like most people I've heard that have said that it was better than it could have been. So
I thought you were gonna say better than the first Evil Dead. I was like, oh,
no,
did they keep
not
in
that
the
far.
rapist tree?
I think so.
Ugh. I didn't like that part.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot about that part.
Yeah, that is a bad part of that movie.
Yeah.
What about Reanimator?
Absolutely.
Does that
movie fucking rules? Dr. Herbert West.
Dr. Herbert West. That was I would definitely
not Dr. West. Herbert
West. I guess it fucking rules. It's kind of weird in spots, like when he takes the head off.
Yeah, but I mean, I've never seen any other movie try and do something like that.
That's
so.
true.
Purely for creativity purposes, I would say.
Does the
definitely.
Aqua Teen Hunger Force movie fucking rule?
The beginning of it
I would
does.
say the first 20 minutes fucking rule.
Yeah.
Everything after that,
Yeah.
But the first 20 minutes...
Everything
after the first 20 minutes is downhill, but that's not saying the rest of it is bad. It's just, that's how good
it just turns into a long Aqua Teen episode.
Yeah.
Which is weird when you make a movie out of a TV show that's just 15
minutes.
Or actually
random.
more like, oh yeah, no, it's like 12 or 13 minutes is what it actually is.
Yeah,
so
with
it's like,
commercial.
then you make it an hour and 20 minutes. It's like...
10 times as long.
Well, hey, look at that. You said the first 20 minutes rule. I think it's about an hour and 20 minutes.
Yeah.
So
There you go.
the length that would take up an Aqua Teen's episode, roughly, is the part that rules about it. If you have any MTFRs that we forgot,
please email them to podcast@thac.tv.
Yeah.
And we can discuss them way longer than we should.
It's a new segment, movies that fucking rule.
Yes.
I would, yeah.
We'll take we could get some suggestions for movies that fucking rule, watch them during the week.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe do a little segment.
I have to go through my...
about what we fucking thought fucking ruled the fucking most.
Yeah.
I'll have to go through my DVD collection and see if there's any that I forgot. I know I thought Sin City fucking ruled when I was about 16, but I don't know if I'd still feel that way.
I thought
Probably
Fight
not.
Club fucking ruled when I was 16.
Yeah, that's true.
Although I don't give it as much hate as you give it. I think it's an okay movie. Yeah, let's save it for next time.
Yeah. I'm out of movies that fucking rule for now. So
send us movies that fucking rule. We'll pick one to watch, and then we'll talk about if we think it fucking rules or not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We can have a voting system in place.
Yes.
Straw poll it.
Yeah.
Rule points. Fucking rule points. Yeah. FR points. We give it this number of FR points out of 5. You wanna wrap this up?
I think we might have run out of steam after getting so enthusiastic about those movies that fucking ruled. So
I'm thinking about RoboCop now. I want to watch me some RoboCop.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea. So thank you for listening, and we will join you again, I guess 2 weeks from now.
Yeah.
Thank you for listening.
Bye.